The papers were sitting on the kitchen counter when I walked in. I'd been home for exactly 4 hours, fresh off a 3-year deployment to Afghanistan, still wearing my dress uniform. My duffel bag was still in the car. "Welcome home," my wife Michelle said, her voice cold. She stood by the counter, arms crossed, her blonde hair perfectly styled. She looked like she was dressed for something that wasn't greeting her returning husband. "What are these?" I asked, already knowing. "Divorce papers. My lawyer prepared them while you were away." My hands were numb. "Michelle, I've been home 4 hours. For hours. Before that, I hadn't seen you in 3 years. And I've realized over these 3 years that I don't want to be married to you anymore. Is there someone else?" She didn't answer. Didn't have to. The guilt in her eyes told me everything. "His name is Tyler. He's 26. You're 43. Age is just a number." "It's not. It's a statement about character. He's younger than our marriage." My name is Marcus Sullivan, and my wife just destroyed me. But she had no idea what she'd set in motion. I'd volunteered for that deployment. Wanted to serve. Wanted to make a difference. Michelle had said she was proud of me. Had promised to wait. Had told me she loved me. We'd been married for 12 years. No kids. She'd said she wanted to focus on her career. I'd agreed. Thought we had something solid. The night before I deployed, she'd cried. Held me tight. Said she'd count the days until I came home. Apparently, she'd spent those days with Tyler. I didn't fight the divorce. Didn't beg her to stay. Didn't even hire a lawyer. I just signed the papers and moved into a studio apartment. Looking back, I should have fought harder. Should have understood that divorce laws favor the party who stays home. Should have realized that 3 years of military service didn't mean anything when dividing assets. Michelle got the house. Got the car. Got most of the savings. I got what I could carry. My discharge paperwork came through 6 months after the divorce. Military service complete. Honorable discharge. A certificate and a medal for service in a war that most people had forgotten about. No job waiting for me. No prospects. Just a veteran with PTSD and a broken marriage. I took whatever work I could find. Construction, retail, anything that paid bills and didn't require pretending to be okay when I wasn't. The thing about military service is that it teaches you discipline. Focus. How to survive on nothing. How to keep going when everything hurts. So I kept going. I found a tiny apartment in a rougher part of town. Worked 2 jobs. Started going to therapy for the PTSD. Slowly, piece by piece, started rebuilding. Michelle, meanwhile, was living in our house with Tyler. They got engaged 6 months into her divorce. Posted about it on social media. The engagement ring was bigger than the one I'd given her. I didn't look at her social media after that. Couldn't afford the anger. 2 years after the divorce, I was working construction and attending night classes for a degree in civil engineering. My supervisor noticed I was good at problem solving. Mentioned that our company's structural division was looking for someone. "You're wasted on construction," he said. "Go talk to the division lead." I did. Started in an entry-level position. Made less money but had potential for advancement. I took it. The degree helped. So did the discipline from military service. So did the hunger from having lost everything. I worked 70-hour weeks. Studied weekends. Went to therapy when my nightmares got bad. Slowly, methodically, rebuilt my life from nothing. Michelle posted about her honeymoon with Tyler. Pictures from Bali. Stories about their perfect life together. I was at the library, studying for an exam, when I saw the photos. Felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Just distance. She belonged in my past now. A chapter closed. 3 years into my rebuild, I got promoted. Structural engineer. Real salary. Real prospects. A job that challenged me and used my skills. My apartment upgraded. Not fancy, but clean. Quiet. Mine. The panic attacks from PTSD were less frequent. The nightmares had lessened. I was sleeping through most nights. I was functional. Better than functional. I was building something. My college graduation came through. Bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I walked across that stage in my cap and gown, no one there to cheer, and felt more proud than I'd ever felt. This was me. Not Michelle's betrayal. Not the divorce's devastation. Just me, rebuilding from rubble. I posted a single photo on social media. Me in my graduation gown. No caption. No need for explanation. Michelle commented, "So proud of you." I deleted the comment. Blocked her. Didn't need her pride anymore. 5 years after the divorce, I was hired by a major structural firm. Vice President track. Real money. Real future. Real life. This was the kind of position I dreamed about before deployment, before marriage, before Michelle. Turns out, losing everything teaches you what you actually want. I met someone new. Her name was Victoria. She was an architect at the firm. Smart, kind, funny in a way that didn't require hiding pain underneath. We went on a date, then another. Took things slowly because I didn't trust easily anymore. But Victoria was patient, understood that military service and betrayal had marked me. Didn't try to fix me, just accepted the person I'd become. 6 months into dating, I brought her to my apartment. She looked around at my sparse furniture and books stacked on shelves. "It's honest," she said. "You don't have anything you don't need." That's rare. It's a habit from deployment, and from not having money after the divorce. Or it's a choice about what matters. She was right. I'd learned to value experiences over possessions, people over things, substance over appearance. Everything Michelle had never understood. The phone call came on a Tuesday afternoon. My ex-wife's sister, Paula. "Marcus, I need to talk to you about something. It's about Michelle." My first instinct was to hang up, but I didn't. Tyler left her, got engaged to someone else, a girl he met at a yoga class. Michelle is devastated. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not vindication, just a distant recognition that karma was real. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Because Michelle wants to reach out. Apologize. She's been following your career on LinkedIn. Saw your promotion. She's proud of you. Tell her I don't need her pride." "Marcus, please. She made a mistake. Can't you find it in yourself to..." "To what? Forgive her?" "I did that years ago. But forgiveness doesn't mean friendship. It means I'm not angry anymore. I'm just indifferent." I hung up, called Victoria, asked if she wanted to get dinner. That was closure. Not a dramatic confrontation. Just the quiet realization that Michelle's life had fallen apart while mine had gotten better. Michelle tried reaching out directly 6 months later. Email, then Facebook message, then LinkedIn connection request. I ignored all of it. Not out of anger, out of self-preservation. Getting pulled back into her drama would only hurt me. But I did look at her profile once, just to understand what had happened. She looked older, tired. The engagement ring from Tyler was gone. She was back using her married name, Sullivan, the name she'd wanted to keep when we divorced, claiming it was for professional reasons. Now I understood it was because she wanted to be associated with stability, with me, with what I'd provided, even if I couldn't provide myself at the time. The house, my house, really, had been sold. Apparently, Michelle couldn't keep up with the mortgage on her own. She was renting an apartment now. Tyler had moved on quickly, was already engaged to his yoga instructor girlfriend. Michelle was alone. I felt pity. Then I turned it off. Her choices, her consequences. The firm offered me a senior partnership position at year 7. This was it. The goal I'd been working towards since that first promotion. Senior partner at a major structural engineering firm. Designing buildings that would stand for generations. Making real money. Building something that lasted. Victoria had been there for most of it. Supported me through the hard times. Celebrated the victories. We'd moved in together. We're talking about marriage. Not rushing it, she said. But eventually, when it feels right. I was fine with that. Rushing into marriage was what I'd done before. This time, I'd go slowly. Make sure. My ex-wife, meanwhile, had dropped off my social media entirely. No more attempts at contact. No more messages. She'd become a ghost. That was healing. When someone who'd meant everything becomes insignificant. 10 years after the divorce, I was at a conference in the city where I'd built my most famous structure. A mixed-use development with residential, retail, and office space. Won awards. Changed the skyline. My photo was in the programs. Marcus Sullivan, senior partner. A brief bio about my background and achievements. No mention of the military service. No mention of the divorce. No mention of the 3 years of rebuilding. Just the structures I created. The legacy I'd built. A woman approached me during a break. Mid-40s. I didn't recognize her at first. Then she spoke. "Marcus, it's been a long time." Michelle. She looked smaller than I remembered. Older. Like life had worn her down in ways I'd become immune to. "Hello, Michelle. That building is stunning. I've been here all day just looking at it, reading about it, and realizing you designed it." "Yes. I'm so proud of you. I always knew you had it in you." I looked at her carefully. Tried to feel something. Anger. Vindication. Anything. But all I felt was tired. "Thank you for saying that. But I don't need your pride anymore. I know. I ruined that. I ruined everything. She had tears in her eyes. I wanted to apologize. Really apologize. Not just for the divorce, but for who I was. For what I did to you. I forgave that years ago. But forgiveness doesn't create obligation. I know. But maybe, could we get coffee sometime? No. I don't think so. She nodded slowly. Like she'd expected this. Like she understood that some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. I understand. I just wanted you to know that you were right about everything. And I was wrong. After she left, I stood looking at my building. At what I'd created from destruction. At how 3 years of service followed by 7 years of rebuilding had made me someone I could respect. Michelle had wanted to take credit for that somehow. Wanted to be part of this success. But she wasn't. And that was right. Victoria and I got married 2 years later. Small ceremony. Friends and colleagues. No drama. No spectacle. Just two people committing to building a life together. Michelle sent a card. Expensive card. Handwritten note. Wishing us happiness. I appreciated the sentiment. But I didn't respond. Some people don't get to be part of your story, even in small ways. We bought a house. Real house. The kind I dreamed about before the military. Before Michelle. Before everything fell apart. Victoria wanted to make it a home. I wanted to build something. We compromised. She decorated. I did renovations. Together, we created something beautiful that was entirely ours. No ghosts of Michelle. No shadow of the past. Just Marcus and Victoria, building a future. 15 years after the divorce, I was asked to speak at a military veterans conference. Topic: Building a life after service and loss. The organizers knew my story. Not all of it, but enough. That I'd been deployed. That my marriage had ended. That I'd rebuilt from nothing. I almost said no. Public speaking wasn't my strength. But Victoria encouraged me. Your story matters, she said. Other people need to know it's possible. I gave the speech. Told them about coming home to divorce papers. About losing everything. About the slow, painful process of rebuilding. You're trained to fight enemies, I told the audience. But sometimes the enemy is yourself. Is your anger. Is your refusal to move forward. I could have stayed bitter. Could have made Michelle's betrayal the center of my identity. But she wasn't worth that space in my head. So I rebuilt. Slowly. Deliberately. Without needing anyone to validate what I was doing. And somehow, in building a better version of myself, I ended up with a better life than I would have had anyway. The standing ovation surprised me. So did the line of veterans afterward, sharing their own stories. Thanking me for speaking up. That speech changed things. Got picked up by media. Articles about the veteran who turned betrayal into success. I didn't love the attention, but I understood its value. Michelle saw one of the articles. Reached out again. Email this time. Marcus, I saw your speech. Heard what you said. And I understand now that I need to apologize not just to you, but to myself for who I was. I'm in therapy, working on understanding why I sabotaged the best relationship I had. Why I traded something real for something temporary. I don't expect you to respond. Don't expect forgiveness beyond what you've already given. But I needed you to know that I see what you've become. And I'm genuinely proud of you. I read the email 3 times. Let it sit for a week before responding. Michelle, I'm glad you're working on yourself. That matters. For your sake, not for mine. But I want you to understand something. You losing Tyler was never about you getting what you deserved. It was just about Tyler being Tyler. The real growth comes from understanding that you destroyed something good because you wanted something shiny. And that's a choice you have to live with. I don't hate you. I just don't need you in my life. And that's okay. I sent it. Didn't block her. Didn't care if she responded. Just wanted her to understand that my success wasn't a response to her. It was a response to myself. 20 years after the divorce, I was interviewed for a major architectural magazine. Feature article about my life and work. The interviewer asked about Michelle, about the divorce, about how it shaped my career. It didn't shape my career, I said carefully. It shaped who I became. Those aren't the same thing. Explain the difference. My career was always going to happen. I'm good at what I do. I work hard. I solve problems. Those characteristics existed before the betrayal. But the betrayal forced me to figure out who I was without external validation, without someone telling me I was worth something. And in doing that, I learned I was worth something to myself, which is the only validation that actually matters. The article was published, became popular. People shared it, commented on it, used it as inspiration. I got emails from people saying my story had helped them. had given them courage to rebuild after their own catastrophes. I responded to as many as I could, not to be famous or celebrated, but because I understood that isolation during rebuilding was the hardest part. Michelle reached out one final time, 22 years after the divorce. After decades of building my life without her. She was sick. Cancer. The email was from her sister Paula. Michelle doesn't have long. She wanted me to reach out. She had something she wanted to say to you. I almost didn't respond. But Victoria convinced me. You don't have to go see her, Victoria said. But you might regret not hearing what she has to say. I went to the hospital, sat by Michelle's bed. She looked frail, diminished. Nothing like the woman who'd served me divorce papers for a younger lover. Marcus, you came. I did. I wanted to say goodbye, and to tell you that I understand now why you moved on. Why you built a life without me. Why you didn't need my pride or my apology. You were strong enough to survive without me. And that's the most beautiful thing about what you became. I held her hand. Not romantic. Not forgiveness exactly. Just human kindness. I hope you're happy, she said. I am. Victoria and I are good. Tell her I'm glad. Tell her you have a good man. I will. I visited twice more before she passed. Not because I owed her, but because Victoria had taught me that compassion doesn't erase harm. It just makes room for humanity. Michelle's funeral was well attended. Tyler showed up, looking uncomfortable. He'd married the yoga instructor. Had kids. Had moved on. I stood in the back. Victoria beside me. Not there to mourn what we'd lost, but to acknowledge what had been. Paula approached afterward. Thank you for coming. And for seeing her at the end. It meant a lot to her. She was part of my life. For better and worse. She knew she'd ruined it. And she spent years knowing there was nothing she could do to fix it. That was her consequence. I know. But you still showed up. That says something about your character. After the funeral, I didn't think about Michelle much anymore. The story was over. The character had exited the narrative. I had a real life to focus on. A wife who understood me. A career that fulfilled me. A home that was safe. The betrayal was just a chapter in a much longer book. 25 years after the divorce, my firm was commissioned to design the tallest building in the state. Signature project. Career capstone. The unveiling ceremony was massive. City officials. Business leaders. Media. My parents were there. Victoria's family. Colleagues who'd become friends. Not Michelle. She was gone. 3 years now. Sometimes I thought about her sitting in the hospital, finally understanding what she'd lost. But mostly, I thought about what I'd built. The building was beautiful, sustainable, innovative. It would stand for centuries. My name would be on it for centuries. This was legacy, not through betrayal or destruction, but through creation. As I cut the ribbon at the opening ceremony, I thought about the kid in a military uniform, coming home to divorce papers. That version of me wouldn't recognize the man standing here now. That version would be proud. I was offered a book deal. From Service to Structures, One Man's Rebuild. I almost turned it down. Didn't need the attention. Didn't need the therapy of revisiting everything publicly. But Victoria pushed me again. Your story matters. It helps people. I wrote the book. Spent a year carefully revisiting every difficult moment. The deployment. The papers on the counter. The divorce. The rebuilding. But I also wrote about love. About Victoria. About finding something real after betrayal taught me what real actually was. The book became a bestseller. Not because it was sensational, because it was honest. Readers connected with the quiet determination. The lack of revenge or spectacle. Just a man rebuilding his life because that was what he had to do. 30 years after the divorce, I was invited to speak at the military academy. Hundreds of young officers. Future leaders. You'll lose things in this life, I told them. Some of it temporary. Some of it permanent. People will betray you. Circumstances will break you. Deployments will take years away. But you get to choose what you do with that loss. You can let it define you. Can spend decades angry at someone who's already moved on with their life. Can insist the world owes you something. Or you can understand that loss is just information. It teaches you what matters. What doesn't. Who you are when everything is stripped away. My wife betrayed me. But that betrayal was the push I needed to become someone I respect. To build something that lasts. To find real love with someone who actually values me. So thank her? No. Learn from her? Absolutely. The standing ovation was louder this time. These young people understood. Victoria was diagnosed with early-stage cancer at 32, 7 years into our marriage. For a moment, panic. For a moment, fear of history repeating. But Victoria was different. We were different. We'll fight this together, she said. Not like you had to fight your divorce alone, but together. And we did. Treatment, recovery, checkups, the slow process of making sure she would be okay. She was 2 years of treatment, and she was in remission, would likely remain cancer-free. During that process, I understood something about Michelle's betrayal that I'd never quite grasped. She'd left because she was scared. Scared of aging. Scared of permanence. Scared of commitment. Whereas Victoria faced real fear with courage. Faced mortality with strength. Faced uncertainty with grace. The difference wasn't luck. It was character. And I'd found someone with actual character. 35 years after the divorce, Victoria and I were sitting on our porch watching the sunset. The house I'd dreamed about. The marriage I'd rebuilt my life to deserve. Do you ever think about her? Victoria asked. About Michelle? Sometimes. But not in the way you mean. I think about the lesson she was. About what happens when you choose comfort over integrity. Do you forgive her? I did that years ago. Forgiveness is for me, not for her. It just means she doesn't get to live rent-free in my head anymore. That's very healthy. She taught me that my validation has to come from me, not from a partner, not from society, not from external achievement. And does it? Yes. I wake up and I'm proud of who I am. Not because of what I've built or earned. Because of the person I chose to become. Victoria took my hand. I'm glad I get to be part of that. Me too. The sun set. The world turned. And we sat in the quiet knowledge that we'd both chosen well. I received a letter from Michelle's sister Paula. A year after Michelle passed. Something Michelle had left in her will for me. Inside was a handwritten letter from Michelle. Dated before she died. Before she got sick. Just a personal letter. Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I hope by now you've built the beautiful life you deserved. The one I didn't give you. The one I couldn't give you because I was too scared and too foolish. I want you to know that watching you succeed was my greatest regret and my greatest source of pride. Regret because I could have been part of that. Pride because I wasn't necessary for that. You became great on your own. With Victoria. Without me. That's the thing I finally understood. That you didn't need me to be okay. You just needed to be yourself. I hope you're happy. Really happy. Not the fake happy I was always chasing. But the real happy that comes from living honestly. I read the letter 3 times. Cried. Not for what was lost. But for what she finally understood too late. I showed Victoria. She took my hand. She finally got it, Victoria said. Yes. But I got it long before she did. That's what matters. 40 years after the divorce, I was asked to design a memorial for fallen soldiers. A project close to my heart. The 3 years I'd served. The people I'd lost. The person I'd become through that service. The design was simple. Beautiful. A wall of names. A reflection pool. Space for grief and remembrance. It won awards. Became iconic. People traveled from around the world to visit it. On opening day, I stood looking at the structure. Thinking about the person I'd been in that uniform. Thinking about the devastation I'd felt at the kitchen counter with divorce papers in my hands. That pain had led here. Not directly, but inevitably. Everything I'd suffered had built the person capable of creating something this meaningful. Victoria and I renewed our vows at 40 years of marriage. Not because we needed to, but because we wanted to. Because we wanted to celebrate what we'd built together. My parents were there. Victoria's family. My colleagues. Friends. No ghosts. No shadows of past relationships. Just the genuine present. I take you again, I said to Victoria. Not because I forgot the first time, but because I understand better now what this commitment means. It means choosing every single day. It means being grateful for the person who chooses me back. She cried. So did I. So did most of the people there. Because they understood they were witnessing something real. Something that had been tested and survived. Something that had learned what actually mattered. 50 years after the divorce, I was invited to be honored at a military appreciation ceremony. Recognition for service. For survival. For rebuilding. I stood on stage looking at the audience. Saw young soldiers facing deployments. Saw their families worried about separation. Saw the futures they were about to have. Some of you will come home to loss, I told them. Some will lose marriages. Some will lose faith. Some will lose themselves for a while. But you have the training to rebuild. The discipline to keep going. The strength to find meaning in the rubble. And if you choose to, you can build something better than what was destroyed. I looked at Victoria, sitting in the front row. At our children. At the legacy of a life well lived despite catastrophic betrayal. My wife served me divorce papers while I was serving my country. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to become the person I was supposed to be all along. So I'm grateful. For the service. For the loss. For the love that followed. For every single difficult moment that built this life. Thank you for my sacrifice. And thank you for the person it made me. The standing ovation lasted 10 minutes. Afterward, a young soldier approached. Sir, I just got divorce papers while stationed overseas. I thought my life was over. It's not. It's just beginning. The hard part is understanding that. How did you do it? One day at a time. One decision to rebuild instead of destroy. One choice to become someone I could respect. It works. I promise it works. If you want it to. He saluted. I saluted back. And I thought about Michelle one last time. About the woman who'd served me those papers 50 years ago in my dress uniform. She'd made a choice that devastated me. But I made a choice to rebuild. To grow. To become something greater than my grief. Her betrayal wasn't my origin story. My response to it was. And that made all the difference.